Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the R.O.A.D podcast, presented by DJ City. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. We have DJ Never.
Yo, what up, y'all?
We got DJ D Miles.
Yo, what's good?
We have Jamie the Great.
Yeah.
And this is a special Miami edition of the R.O.A.D podcast. We got a special guest by way of DC, one of DC's finest. He was the Red Bull 3-star regional champ. And now he's one of Miami's finest. I'd like to welcome Spencer Tracy. What's good, man?
What's good?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me,
man.
fellas.
Thanks for coming through, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
So when did you move to Miami?
It's going on 4 years, so July of 2016.
July 2016?
Yeah.
What made you move to from DC to Miami?
I guess I was kind of burnt out. I was in the club, man, 6 nights a week.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Like twice, 2 gigs on Saturday, 2 gigs on Sunday. Only day off was Monday. And I was just fucking grinding. And I just got tired of it. I was like, man, I didn't want to. One, the pay is a lot less in DC, so I didn't want to have to work as much. I was getting tired. I would go to the club on Tuesday, stay out till 5, 6, sleep all day, get up, do something real quick, and then I'm going right back to the club. It's like that was my whole life.
It's almost like a factory job a little bit. Yeah,
bro, for sure.
Sounds like Groundhog's Day, man. Just the same shit every day.
I was getting sick of it, so I was just like,
what was the breaking point? Because we all have that breaking point, right? Where we realize,
It's time for a change.
I got to stop the madness or some shit.
I don't know if there was like one thing, but there was just a bunch of shit that like.
Because you were killing it out there.
I was doing pretty well. It's no complaints. I love DC. I still go back and play, but my life wasn't. It was more of a personal thing than it was like my career. I just wasn't happy with the way my life was set up at the time, and just the relationships. That was probably the breaking point. The relationships you build in the club aren't sustainable. You know, it's just the same type of people, the same shit, the same bullshit you deal with. And I got to a breaking point, and I actually went to LA for a month. I just was like, I'm not DJing for a month. I took my laptop, but I didn't play no gigs.
Oh, okay.
For a whole month, and I was just like trying to decompress, and came back and found myself right back in it, and I was like, man, I got to do something.
Did you grow up in DC?
Yeah, grew up.
Okay.
I'm born and raised DC my whole life until I moved here. Yeah.
Jerome Baker. Shout out to Jerome Baker III.
My dog.
Yeah. What do you call it? He was giving me some info on you. But did you grow up a little bit in New York for a little bit? No.
He said that?
Yeah, he said maybe you did like a little, like you was in NYC in the 90s a little bit.
Nah, bro. We don't even rock with New York. Not to say if anybody's from New York.
Shit.
Hold on. Let me say it. Get my whole sentence
We
off.
don't even rock with New York, yo.
No, right?
DC, if you really
He's
from
the
DC,
East Coast too. That's fucked up.
but if you're really from DC, once you go north, we didn't really get along with them that much growing up. Now I'm like, I'm older, I don't care. But as a youngin', in the club or whatever, it was like we knew who was from New York, Philly, Baltimore. That was like a different steez. It was a different type of thing than what we were dealing with.
Why was like the New York, when New York motherfuckers came to like DC, were they like extra cocky? Like, yo, you're from New York.
I mean, you could tell somebody from uptown New York, and it was just a little.
How could you tell though?
It was just a little too much. I mean, technically, we're from the South. Like, probably 9 out of 10 people, at least black people, that I knew growing up, somebody was from North Carolina, South Carolina, deep in Virginia or something. So we didn't
definitely.
Yeah, we were more prone to fuck with the South shit than New York shit, especially like in my house growing up. I mean, not my parents, but my older brother. It was No Limit. It was Cash Money. I was telling somebody this 2 days ago. I had every single No Limit CD. Skullduggery, Cain and Abel, Mia X. Yeah, bro. Like
every week's release.
So the shocker.
Yeah, Silk.
So you weren't you weren't fucking with like Mike Geronimo or like Royal Flush and shit.
no Mobb Deep.
I mean, okay, I know. I fuck with some Mobb Deep shit, but that wasn't our shit, bro. Like we just was not rocking with. My brother was into well before I was really into hip hop. My brother was into hip hop, so I got enough of an education on it, but it wasn't it wasn't what I was riding to. When I was 16 and got my license, I wasn't popping in when I was 16 in 99, something like that. I wasn't.
We the same age.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah.
I wasn't playing.
What was popping? Like Jay-Z was popping in 99.
Yeah, but I wasn't really a Jay-Z like.
But that was right when the Cash Money era started to hit.
Bro, I had every Cash Money tape. I had the first Hot Boys album, the one before the one that everybody knows.
The 300 degrees one, not the 400 degrees.
Right. I had every, like, from the South, Scarface, Devin the Dude. That's what I grew up on.
Yeah. Pastor Troy.
Yeah, Pastor Troy. A bunch of it. I think it had to do with a lot of those artists used to come to the city and perform with go-go bands. So.
Oh shit.
And go-go bands do a lot of cover a lot of songs, and a lot of the shit that they were covering were like Devin the Dude songs, Juvenile, or even if it wasn't a whole cover of a song, a lyric within one of their songs was from, somebody from the South, Wayne or whatever, BG or whatever, and that just resonated with us, especially in my household. Come from my brother and myself, we were just heavy into it. So I didn't really get the New York education until a little bit later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Interesting. I'm just curious. With DC, was there like not really even a connection with New York that much? Not, you know what I'm saying?
Not as a child, but once I got to maybe college.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Howard, so that's like must be a tunnel from somewhere in New York straight to Howard University because. Bro, I saw so many motherfuckers from New York. I had never even experienced that before.
Oh, really?
Which I got a lot of good relationships from it and friends and whatnot. But it just, I was so stuck in, I was still stuck in like the go-go, like still being around my neighborhood folk. Like, I didn't get that. I wasn't even, while I was at college, I wasn't really on campus. I was still around the way. I was still going to the go-go's. I was still, just out on the block. Messing around, blah blah blah.
And it was mostly what all y'all were listening to was mostly South, like music. Yeah.
South. I mean, 2000, probably 2000, 2001 and 2 is when I really started to get into hip hop more. Yeah. Because go-go for me faded at that point. That was, and I listened to the podcast when Jerome was on here. He was giving a little bit of history of how it kind of like faded out of, like they kind of pushed it out of the city. You couldn't go to the go-go's in the city anymore, and it was out in Maryland. And there's also, growing up, there was a disconnect between DC and Maryland a little bit. So we didn't really, it was a thing, kind of like in Miami where people from Fort Lauderdale or Broward County like to say that they're from Miami, but they're not really from Miami. Technically, it's the same thing at home. Like, you from Maryland. Like, you're not from where I'm from. You didn't go to DC public schools. Like, you didn't get on the bus and go all the way uptown. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's almost like a bridge and tunnel kind of like a New York, New Jersey kind of thing, right?
Kind of, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because when Jersey motherfuckers, like when they move to another city or state, they kind of say like, "Hey, I'm from New York."
Yeah, I hated that.
Well, I got that in Vegas a lot. So I'd meet somebody and I'd be like,
still get it. Yeah,
I'd be like, "Oh, you from New York?" And they'd be like, "Yeah." And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I grew up on Manhattan." They'd be like, "Well, I would go to New York a lot."
Yeah. That's pretty much the same thing.
That's some LA shit too, though, because you'd be like, "Oh, what part of LA?" Like, "Oh, I'm really from Riverside."
Yeah, and I'm like, "That's not
you
LA,
ain't from LA,
buddy.
motherfucker. You from the Valley.
You
from the IE."
I got nothing against Jersey. I'm just like, you ain't gotta.
Nah, there's internal beef over
There's
here.
nothing impressive about being from New York to me, man. You know. So, what do you call it? So you came to Miami, you grew up in DC, and then I want to know, because I'm really curious, what brought you to Miami, and like how was it to adjust to the music and to the club scene out here? Because it is fairly different.
It's different.
In my experience, when I've DJ'd in DC, there was almost little to no Latin presence at all.
No.
Like there was no Latinos. I could barely play any Latin music.
Yeah.
It was I could play reggae, I could play hip hop, I could play even EDM or some house.
Yeah.
But Latin was like not present at all. You know what I mean?
So there's two things. There was a learning curve definitely for like the Latin and more Caribbean stuff. Like I got a good base of dance hall because, like you said, it's a good amount of Caribbean folk in DC. So I had a base, but coming here, like adding that Latin to sets, it was definitely a learning curve. They're just basic records that every DJ has here that I didn't have a clue, never heard before, don't even know the artists, like whatever. But the thing was, before I moved here, I started coming to Miami probably about 7-8 years ago, a couple times a year, and then maybe 6 or 5 years ago, I would come like 5, 6, 7 times a year. Then right before I came, I was here twice a month, and just getting to know people and picking up gigs here and there if I could. I wound up meeting like Dizza and R.O.A.D and you know, all those folks, and they would give me a chance to play here. They didn't know me. I mean, Dizza, I guess. Oh, Chase introduced me to Dizza actually.
Okay.
So
Chase B, yeah,
Chase B. I came down for, I don't know if it was Basil or something like that, but
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
That's when everybody comes out here.
Probably so. So I came
but
down.
that's when Art Basel was dope, I heard.
Yeah,
right?
probably like it was still a little much. Now it's way oversaturated.
Yeah, it's too much.
But so I came down and I was gonna meet up with Chase, and he just happened to be at Adrian's crib, Diz's crib.
Yeah.
And he was like, just come through. I was like, all right, whatever. So I went over there and we just kicked it. And we wound up sitting and talking for hours about music and shit. And I think Pace Rock was there too.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Pace. I heard he was on here. I listened to his episode. It was dope. And we kicked it and just talked. And I was playing at Sidebar. I don't know if you remember Sidebar down here.
Yeah, Raul owned the Sidebar.
Yeah, so I was
actually a pretty big space. They have an indoor and an outdoor, right?
Yeah. It was big, and it was a thing for about 4 years. Like, it was dope. Which
is hard to do in Miami. Yeah. Which is hard to have like a club for 4 years. Yeah.
So I was playing that night, and they didn't know some. I guess I don't know who booked me. Maybe Norma. You know Norma now?
No.
Okay, well, I'll give you some background later about Norma, but whatever. She got me the gig just based off of, like, you know, she knew Raul and everybody. It was like, get this dude to play. They put me on. They had me opening for another cat, like the resident there that played every Saturday. Mm-hmm. And me and Chase and I were talking about it, and then Dizza got in the conversation and was like, yo, and Chase was like, yo, you got him opening? Like, why? Why is he opening that Sidebar? What's going on? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I mean, he had never heard me play.
Yeah.
Whatever. So he switched it, got me to close. The other dude opened up for me. And just once I played and Raul heard me, and then I don't know if you remember Jared Grant from the Basement. He used to run Basement. How long you been playing there?
Very, very recently, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This was a couple years ago. Yeah. So he happened to be outside listening. And Raul introduced me to him, and then I started picking up gigs. He put me on at Basement, and then that turned into playing at Koyo and some other places, and And then over those next 6-7 months, I just started to come down more and more and just build relationships, friendships.
And it just seemed right?
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to get away from the cold. That was killing me.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking hate the cold.
Even though you grew up in that environment.
I don't know how I did it. Like, I think at like 30, something clicked in my head. I was like, bro, if I do one more cold winter, I'm going to kill myself. And
I was like that in New York, where I was like, I don't want to do New York in my 30s.
Yeah.
You know, like, so like in my late 20s, I was like, when the Vegas opportunity came up, I was like, let me try this. Because I was like,
really, man?
I couldn't see myself. I don't know, for some reason, like, I was just like, I can't see myself doing New York in the 30s, and then in my 30s. Mm-hmm. And then when I was in, when I moved to Vegas, I was like, yo, this is like, I can't even, it's so much simpler and easier than it is. You know what I'm saying?
It's so much easier to get up and go do something when it's nice outside.
Yeah.
Than it is when it's brick. You got to put on layers. You got to walk.
You should be used. I mean, you should be used to it though.
But that don't mean I like it. I was used to it, but I definitely didn't like it. And then, I mean, add on the other factors like Miami getting paid more. Like you could go to a bar in Miami and get paid double what you get paid in the club in DC.
Why is that? Because the New York rates have been going down, I heard.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Like, motherfuckers are getting paid $400 for a whole night, even less to like open. And those were like, I mean, New York was pretty competitive back in the day, but they weren't taking advantage of DJs like they are now. I feel like, you know?
I think it's because it's just bust wide open, where everybody has a laptop. And anybody can walk in there, and
just the saturation of it.
Yeah, anybody can just get the top 150 songs, and
everybody when they get put on, everybody want to work. So
yeah. I mean, I don't know, the rates here are just astronomically higher than DC,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I can work less and make the same amount, if not more.
And I feel like the standards of living in DC is expensive, more expensive.
Yeah, way more expensive. I think it's if it's not one now, it was one top the most expensive city to live in the country.
Really?
At one point, yeah.
I think San Francisco might be number one.
No.
Yeah?
The housing cost in San Francisco is one. The living, in order to live, that means gas.
Oh, yeah.
That means gas, groceries,
Expenses, everything,
yeah.
DC might be the highest.
It's insane.
Oh wow!
Like here, you live downtown or whatever, across from the arena, you get a 2-bedroom, might be $2,500.
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
DC, you live downtown, $4,000 for a 1-bedroom, $3,500 for a 1-bedroom.
That's like New York shit.
That's definitely some LA prices.
That's some LA shit too. It's gnarly, man.
So
coming out to DC, you had to there was a learning curve with the Latin music, right?
Yes. I mean, not just the Latin stuff. That was one aspect, but then
also house and EDM,
Yeah. I mean, well, I got a good amount of house and EDM too. Jerome and I made it a thing to learn that side of like club DJing as well.
Yeah, explain that though.
We would literally Wednesday afternoon, just get up and go to Park where he used to play. And go upstairs and just run EDM tunes and try to fine tune a set. Because
just to be able
to, if you get an opportunity, just to be able to play, And we also wanted to travel. At that point, I wanted to travel as a DJ, and I guess that's, the end goal for a lot of up and coming open format DJs want to get on the road. Now, looking back, that was not what I wanted to do. It's not anything that I like.
It seems like the formula, right? But it's not.
I mean, once I went on the road with an artist, not to get off on a tangent. But
we're all about tangents over here.
Right. We'll get back to it because I have a point about the learning curve of music. So once I went out on the road with an artist, I saw that bouncing from city to city and not having any time for yourself to just self-care, just the basic shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's not something that I wanted to do.
Was that when you were touring with Allison
No,
Carney?
After I was touring with Chaz French. We actually went on 2 tours with Gold Link, and shout out to Gold Link, that's my dog. And then we went on a tour 2 months or a month and a half, something with Freddie Gibbs, and did the whole West Coast from the top all the way down to the bottom and over to Denver. But it was just, it was too much. I was like, I would rather just, create something where I am, which we'll get to that later too, and just build up my name in the city that I'm in, and whatever. When I get a chance to travel, I will. But I didn't want to do the whole management travel route.
So when you started touring, you realized this is not the lifestyle I want to have at all.
No, I like to be comfortable sometimes. Most times.
Sometimes,
not sometimes. Most times, I like to be comfortable, and that road is not comfortable.
Yeah.
You mentioned Gold Link. Did you see his up and coming days and shit like that?
For sure. We were on tour before he ever did the
Crew
show we did, way before Crew. Okay. We did, my bad, that was you. It's kind of weird having the what's going on. Way before Crew, maybe a couple years, 2 years before Crew, we went on an East Coast tour and did 2 shows in New York, one in Brooklyn, one in Manhattan. Went up to Boston, did a show, did one more city, and then I can't remember which city, and then we did Philly. And the Philly show at the end, it was maybe 85, 100 people.
Oh shit!
Way before he got to where he was, and that's kind of how we developed a relationship, because it was from nothing. We were all out there just grinding on that road. Yeah. But to get back to what I was saying about the learning curve, and I was having this conversation last night with a bunch of DJs, I don't know if you heard of the Love Below collective down here.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Okay, yeah. So it's a bunch of dope DJs. I randomly was over the crib while they were having a meeting and doing some live mix stuff.
Oh, wow.
And we were talking about records, those maybe Mystical Been So Long, or what's the name of that song? Danger.
Yeah.
And what's the other one?
Shake Your Ass.
Yeah. And somebody played it in Serato or whatever, and I was like, bro, I never played that record once in my life. Neither one of them. Never once. Because the first 8 years of me DJing, I'm playing in DC. There was no reason to play that record. That was a throwaway. Like it was.
What year was this? You started DJing?
I started DJing in 2010. First time I bought all the equipment the end of 2009. And I started practicing, and then I got my first gig in 2010.
Yeah, by that time that record might have been a wash.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
nobody was playing that.
That was 8 years later after the release.
Okay, so
like 10 years later.
in Miami, you can depend on where you are on maybe like on the Wynwood side, not on the beach, but depending on where you are, you can get that record off and it's going to get a good reaction. In DC, there was no. I don't even need to. Yeah, like you have to be either one of the first opening songs you play or don't play it at all.
But it actually became a big crossover record to the point where it was a big white club record.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I think when clubs cross over there, sometimes their playable factor, it gets gets put in like the cheesy chest.
Yeah,
the cheesy
for us,
folder,
for
you know
sure.
what I'm saying?
That's where it was in
But
DC.
but there's songs like Nelly Hot in here, right? Like that would be
Ride
cheesy,
With Me.
but that Ride With
I don't
Me
think
for
I
sure.
played. I don't think I played Ride With Me in DC.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think I
can't.
played Hot in here in DC.
But for some reason, and if you go to LA, that's kind of like a throwback
That's what-
2000
That's what I'm
record.
saying.
You know,
when I
Yeah.
came to Miami, there were songs like Ja Rule. I literally never played Ja Rule in DC. Not one time. No, they never happened.
So you started DJing in 2010.
But he
Yeah.
started like around the EDM takeover era.
If you were going if you were playing at white clubs, it was hip hop. It was the new hip hop and EDM mixed together.
Yeah.
In 11, well, I probably got into the clubs maybe 12, 13, and then if you were playing the black clubs, and by that time I was closing, I wasn't opening as much. I'm playing all the new records on the radio.
Yeah.
It wasn't like what do I need Nelly for? What do I need Ja Rule? Come here. And it's like, yo, you get your Nelly shit off.
Yeah.
Like,
The whole
for
melody.
real.
Yeah.
The five Nelly songs.
Yeah. It's like Ja Rule never played it. I mean, it's a bunch of records in that vein.
Interesting. It's
That I-
really
yeah.
it's really interesting to hear that because to me, Mystical teaming up with the Neptunes was so
Yeah.
it was so groundbreaking when
incredible.
it happened. Like when I heard Shake Your Ass, we were like, what is this?
That was
Like,
the first time Pharrell really got with a down south artist, right?
Yeah, but it was just Mystical's voice with the Neptunes beats.
Yeah.
And we were just like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, people were calling it like James Brown, like modern day 2000 James Brown.
So what year did that come out?
2001.
You're the year
2000.
guy.
It's like
Okay.
2000,
So that was-
2001.
Yeah.
I don't even think I knew what a DJ was in 2001.
September 26, 2000.
Yeah,
2000.
I wasn't even like I was in the club, but I wasn't paying attention to no DJ. I didn't know what a DJ was. I didn't know where the music was coming from. I was chasing chicks around the club. Like that was not even on my radar to become a DJ. That was not something that I wanted to do.
Wait, so you not knowing what a DJ was at 2000, right? What made you want to become a DJ 10 years later?
Okay, all right. So,
Full circle.
while growing up, I was a musician. So I was a drummer.
Yeah.
I was a percussionist, and I played a little bit.
Jerome says you on some like Questlove shit.
I mean, something like that. I
Yeah.
played in every band you could think of.
Yeah,
from
the fro
age
and
of,
shit
like-
too? Yeah.
I did actually. Yeah, my hair was like long and shit down here, but I didn't have a fro. But yeah, I played in every band you could think of up until college.
Wow.
And I even go-go bands, jazz. I did a lot of Afro Latin jazz shit.
Wow.
Marching band, like even classical jazz shit. And I went to school on a music scholarship for drums, whatever. And I put it down. I started working right after college, put it down for a while. And then in my late 20s, I started to do events with my boys. And we were doing these underground warehouse events. And we were literally just three of us. We would Friday night.
Is this the Con Artists Guild?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We had a crew called the Con Artists Guild, and
That's an interesting name.
It is, and I'm not even going to go into go into how it was.
Well, y'all were doing events for like 10 plus years, right?
We were doing events for a while.
Yeah.
Like we started in college before we even had a name. We were just throwing house parties, but like legit house parties, door cover, DJ in the crib, bar, cash bar.
Wait,
like,
explain these house parties. It would be a random house or someone's crib?
Okay, so myself and my three best friends in college lived in a row house, 4-bedroom row house.
So this is during Howard, right?
Yeah, Howard, at Howard, 4-bedroom row house, and we would just hit everybody up, yo, come through. Somebody knew, one of my boys knew a DJ. Even at this time, I was like, whoever this guy is, whatever he does, I don't know what he brings to this, but cool. I never put it together that this is like the heartbeat of the party.
Don't know what the speakers
Really?
are for, but yeah, sure.
Even though you were drumming and you were
I never
music.
played with a DJ. I was a live musician. I was like, I knew what a guitar player was.
But you would understand that music is kind of important to any kind of...
but not in the club.
Really?
No, I wasn't worried about
You
the
didn't put two and two. It just didn't make any sense.
I wasn't worried about the music. I was chasing chicks around the club for years. I didn't care. I mean, if my song came on, that was tight.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't know where it came from.
All right, so 2000, what would have been your song if it came out?
In what year?
I mean, whatever, when you were doing
Whenever
these
you're
parties.
running around
yeah.
chasing the chick.
Oh,
like,
some South shit like.
So like 2002, 2004.
T.I.'s first album, trap music. What you know?
24?
I could rap that word for word.
So you
club.
was really on some like, not backpack, like it would be like a New York backpack underground rap, but you was
But for
into
the
like,
South.
but for the South, you like that. You didn't want that commercial South shit. You wanted like,
Bro,
the
I have every
gritty-
Project Pat album that he ever put out.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
okay.
up until now.
Yeah.
Like, I know song number 17 on the Project Pat album
Yeah.
from 97.
And you were listening to Pastor Troy albums
For sure.
Okay, I think that's pretty like
Project Pat.
that's like
amazing.
down south underground shit.
Yeah.
Because he had one song that I knew of.
Yeah.
Are We Cutting?
Yeah. No. Oh, wow. That was like the radio joint. That wasn't even a joint
That's
that
the
we
only
was
one I
fucking
would
with.
know. That's the only one I would know.
No.
I don't even know if this new generation or anybody knows what Are We Cutting. That Timberland
Honestly,
record.
I don't know it.
Really?
I know him as an artist, but I don't know specific
That was his
song.
biggest song.
Are We Cutting was it? That
Well,
beat
getting
was
played
crazy.
on the East Coast.
Yeah.
What was the one
yeah.
that Timberland produced?
That's
That
Are
was
We
the
Cutting.
one?
Are We
Oh,
Cutting.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me get it.
Then I just didn't even realize that was the name.
I remember I used to double up on that shit.
Yeah.
But we would only play it. We would play it full, like knowing full well 90% of the crowd wouldn't know what the fuck it is in New York.
People just don't associate DC with the South, though.
Yeah, they
So
don't.
They think White House. They think
Yeah,
colleges.
for sure.
You know what I mean, they don't.
I think East Coast.
I think East
Yeah,
Coast.
People think people think East Coast, but it's not that. I mean,
I jumble it up with like Philly,
Nah, we
Detroit.
not- yeah,
I put
nah.
it all together, you know.
No.
Yeah.
We are more akin to Southern Virginia, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Even down as far as to
I can
Atlanta.
see that, yeah.
I drove to Atlanta more times, which is a 10-hour drive than I've ever driven to New York from DC.
Yeah.
You know, like that was not even New York was East Coast.
Yeah.
To me.
I know you say you
And-
don't rock with New York. I know.
Nah, I ain't saying
He's from the South.
that's an edit point right there.
I'm keeping that in. I'm keeping that pause. Yeah, pause. Major pause on that.
How cracking were the Howard homecomings when you were there? Some of my most memories. I've been in DC. I've gone maybe like 2 or 3 times.
You was
It's
out in
crazy.
Howard homecomings?
Yeah,
Of course
Yeah,
he
I
was.
was like,
Is that even a fucking like question?
from like I think I went in a row from like 07 to like 2010.
Would you?
Oh, shit.
Really?
Yeah,
Damn.
I probably only did the 3 years out of the 4 years that I was at college, and then afterwards, because I had a really bad college experience, so I wasn't really fucking with Howard after that. But they were epic while I was there.
yeah.
But that just wasn't a thing for me afterwards, because literally, you seen the movie Drumline?
Yeah.
That's my life. Somebody wrote that. Somebody saw my college experience and wrote that. Had to. It's verbatim like what happened to me in college.
Wow.
So you was like the rebel drummer?
Yeah.
On the drum line?
Yeah.
You were like hitting other people's drums and shit and fighting them? Damn, bro.
I don't think I fought, but
You're the real Nick Cannon.
That's crazy.
yeah, I was like the outcast in the drum line, and I was I was like one of the more talented, if not the most talented dude that came into the school that year, and the only guy was the most senior member on the line, and he gave me shit, and then they wanted me to join a fraternity, like a band fraternity. I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm not joining. I'm not delivering nobody like all the brown peanuts, M&Ms. Like that's the type of shit they. And I was like, whatever. So they pretty much made me the outcast of the band. We'd be in a bus going south to some school, and the whole bus would be chanting like some song about me. Like the whole bus, everybody in the band, yeah. And it was just dumb. I was like
straight, some straight bully shit. Huh?
Yeah, but I mean, you wasn't bullying me because, like,
he's 6'2".
I mean, yeah. That wasn't like y'all could do that, but that wasn't really. I knew I was confident in who I was. I mean, I was still young, but I wasn't worried about it. I just left, and then I just never really got acclimated because most of my time, my first semester, was spent. Not most of it, probably 99%, almost all of my time was spent with the band the first semester. After that, I never really got acclimated. I just went back to what I knew, which was my folks from from home. And I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. But getting back to what we were saying about the Con Artists Guild. So we were throwing the house parties and shit. And on up to maybe my later 20s, we started throwing these warehouse events. Literally just would get on the phone and send texts out to everybody we knew, address, 411 New York Avenue. I'll never forget this. 411 New York Avenue, 10 p.m. 350, 400 people would show up, and we would party till 5 in the morning in a warehouse. And the DJ, he was dope, DJ R.O.A.D. He was like, he played a bunch of, I can't even really explain it, but well, it was like, R.O.A.D Creative Partners and Flying Lotus and a bunch of trip hop and indie stuff.
No.
Oh, really?
I know Flying Lotus.
Taz Arnold?
Yeah.
Okay, Taz Arnold was in R.O.A.D. Like, it was some super...
The designer, right?
Yeah.
Super like left field, creative, like hip hop,
like
funk influence.
Thundercat?
Yeah, that type shit. Yeah.
Okay.
He was playing all this, and I was like, all right, that's cool. And when it got time to like party, he couldn't really hold it down as much as we wanted. But and I was like, yo, if he could do this, like, why can't I do this? And all my friends were like, yeah, why don't you just DJ? And I was like, I mean, all right. So I maxed out a credit card, bought all the equipment, turntables, Pioneer DJM 400, needles, new computer.
Did you get Techniques?
Techniques. Yeah. I bought everything like legit. And a month later, 2 months later, I had a gig in New York. And then a year and a half later, I won the Red Bull shit.
Oh wow!
Damn.
Yeah.
You a quick learner.
Was it? Yeah. Like a year and a half later.
Well, it definitely helps when I think when you have a percussion background where you know you can count bars, you know exactly like mixing records. Like if you give a kid with no musical background, if you just have them try to learn DJing, they don't know bars, they don't know a 1-2 count. You know what I mean? They don't know a snare and a kick when to mix and how to match the BPMs. And you already had
first
of that,
two records I put in the on the decks in Serato.
Yeah,
I could beat match them in like a couple minutes.
Yeah,
it was like,
and then the waveforms helped as well.
I don't mean personally. I hate looking at the waveforms. It just throws me off. I'm all ear, but I've always been ear. Even playing the piano when I was younger, I played by ear. I couldn't even read drum music, which is a lot easier than like piano music or whatever. I couldn't read that. I just played everything by ear.
Damn, that happens in the drum line too. He doesn't know how to read music.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you, that was my story for sure.
Damn,
man. I gotta know who wrote that shit. Maybe
that motherfucker was watching me.
Dallas Austin?
Maybe, huh?
Dallas Austin?
Oh, that was about him, right? Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh shit, I
you
didn't
might
know
be
that.
the new Dallas. I don't know. Yeah, because you said I can't read the music. I was like, that happened too.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
So then that's how you got into DJing pretty much, right?
Yeah. And I actually needed at the time I was working in retail. I don't know. I know it wasn't up north, but it was out west, up against the wall.
Yep.
You remember up against the
I
wall?
used to shop there in high school.
Oh shit. Okay, I worked there for 7 years, and I ran a bunch of stores. I was like store manager. I was actually gonna move to Vegas. They were opening one in Vegas, and I was gonna move. And they did some business deal that pretty much bottomed out the company.
Oh, wow.
And the December the month after I started practicing DJing, the company went under. So I ain't have nothing. So I had to get to it. I was like, there was also like an urgency to get good at DJing because I had to make some money. I didn't have no plan after that. I was gonna go work at like downtown locker room or some shit like that. I don't know.
So then, is that you just like you went from promoting parties to DJing them and promoting the parties pretty much?
Nah, when I first started, I was just straight DJing. Like I was a sponge for the first 6 or 7 years, I think, of DJing. I would just Jerome and I. First of all, shout out to Jerome, because if Jerome wouldn't have taken me under his wing, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere. I learned everything from Jerome.
I was about to ask you, where did you get all your music from? Like
music, I had a bunch of music because I collected, not records, but I collected music like MP3s and every album. I worked at a record store too, not a record store, but remember like a Tower Records or FYE. It was called FYE, For Your Entertainment, but they didn't sell vinyl, but whatever. So I collected music, but then just throughout the first couple of years, just chopping it with DJs and getting a couple tracks here, getting a couple tracks there, downloading a bunch of stuff. Here's my hard drive. Here's yours. Whatever. That's how I got the music. But just in the beginning, I was just literally in the booth watching DJ. I wouldn't even be drinking. I'd just be standing there watching DJs. You don't even know. I watched you before. I've been at Park next to that booth watching you DJ.
Damn.
100%.
What the fuck is this guy playing? Like, what is he doing right now?
Because Julie was my homie.
Shout out to Julie Kim. Yeah.
My cousin was the head of security at Park. So I used to be there all the time. I saw you. We used to get in the car, drive up to Atlantic City, buy a table at Murmur, and watch Ross One, just to hear Ross One DJ. Andy Rock the Con, who else? 5. 3 years in a row, I waited in line to get in the Peach Fuzz to watch Dizza DJ.
Wow.
I saw Fashion. I heard y'all talking about Fashion. One time Jerome and I went down there. Fashion got us in the Peach Fuzz. Literally just sat there and listened to the DJ the whole night.
Right.
So I was a sponge.
Such an important part of the process of becoming, and it doesn't end.
No.
Like it never ends. Going out to hear other DJs
is a thing.
Is the best thing you could ever do. It's like the best thing you could ever do, and you're in the scene. And it gets you out there to like mingle with people.
You never know who you're gonna meet. You never know what conversation you're gonna have gonna lead to a gig or lead to another opportunity that leads to a gig down the road.
Nothing gets. I mean, a lot of shit gets done at home, obviously, but like you have to go out and hear what motherfuckers are doing
for sure
to open your mind about shit. Because if you just stay home and do shit, you become this closed-minded DJ, and you don't become really open, and it doesn't become like. It becomes more of a community when you're going out to see other DJs and support them and doing all that shit. And it's like in Vegas, we always say this, yo. If your gigs are getting cold, go out more. Like be seen. Get like some of these promoters don't see you, and then like they'll be like, oh shit, like I haven't seen you in a minute.
They forget about you if they don't see you. They're
for sure.
And they're not trying to book you. You get like then you get no work.
I remember Jerome and I drove up to New York, or caught a bus or whatever up to New York, and wound up in some random, like the basement part of a hotel or something, watching some DJ, short Asian dude, playing on a rotary mixer, playing house all night long. And we don't even play that type of house music, but you never know what little tricks you can pick up. And he's playing on a rotary mixer. Like, I've never played on a rotary mixer. There's no reason for me to do that in the club, but you just never know what little things you're going to pick up from watching a DJ. And I still do it to this day. I'm always got my eye on.
Have you ever spun on a rotary mixer? No?
Nah.
What about you guys? Never?
Nope.
Kind of miss it sometimes.
Yeah.
I do.
For real?
Yeah.
Once in a while, I wouldn't mind messing with it.
What's the upside?
The mixes are just so smooth. Yeah. So like, and then you can just kind of like, you can kind of just tease things a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it makes you a little bit more sharper on like just a little like on your movements.
Yeah.
You're a little bit more graceful, and you're just kind of more aware of the little minor sounds that you're doing. And just it is fun because it just simplifies everything to just volumes.
Yeah.
and knobs and controls, and you're just kind of like turning one up, turning one down. Oh, I want this bass line to hit. Oh, I'm gonna put this in. You know, I'm gonna tease some of this in there, and then it's just like super fun, man.
Yeah, I know.
But if you can try it, I mean, I don't think you need to do a whole night with it, but
yeah,
like if you do it, you'll start being like, oh, okay, this is kind of dope. Like, and the sound quality on those mixers are bar none.
And when you playing on that rotary mixer, you just stick in the house, or you still playing like?
No, it was always in the club. They were way too expensive to buy. They were
no. I mean like house music.
I know. I used to do hip hop also, but they made for house music. But in New York, a lot of hip hop DJs was DJing with it because that's what the clubs had.
Yeah,
They
they
didn't
have any crossfades.
It was literally like screwed into the DJ booth.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So like all the DJ booths in New York, probably in
the big clubs,
from the 90s to the early 2000s, were all built for house.
So that's leftover from the 70s, late 70s and 80s.
Well, probably from the 80s to 90s,
from the 80s
more
and
90s, yeah.
90s, yeah.
So in the 2000s, we were on rotary mixers, and we were in like I would have to do like the Roxy, and I'd be intimidated as fuck. It'd be like this huge club, and I'd have to spin hip hop, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like the hardest shit I've ever had to do. By the end of the night, I was having fun, and then I would see Flex get on and just completely rock the crowd, do spin doubles, transform somehow on knobs. I don't know how the fuck he did that.
That shit to me is insane.
Yeah, I don't know how he did that.
I seen
either.
that shit and I'm like, what the fuck?
On knobs, he's transforming.
Speaking of some crazy shit like that, did you see that video of J-Rock playing on the...
Oh my god! But this shit like that, do you understand what I'm saying? Like
that was
crazy. Where J-Rock was juggling. What was he? He was just juggling
in the studio on the big PA board.
Yeah.
Like two turntables next to each other
with no mixer. With no mixer and no headphone. Just not knowing what's going on in either side of the records, and then playing a little bit of it, and then saying, "Okay, I know where it is at the record." And
yeah,
I gotta bring, and dropping shit. And
was it on vinyl or he had like
it was vinyl?
Vinyl.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
So he was just
so
like
he just dropping the needle on the record. He knew exactly
he
where
had
he
two
was.
of the same records, right? And then he was juggling, but then he would bring it back, and he would bring it forward to maybe like the beginning of the verse. He'd lift up the sound a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, where's the record at? Where's the song at? Oh, okay, it's over here. Okay, and then he just kind of double it up and keep going back and forth.
Shit was crazy.
Epic video. Like I was like, this is insane. Like like this is. It's one of those times when I saw Flex on knobs and I was like, this is fucking bananas, man. I'd like shout to that motherfucker. Shout to Flex for OGs and stuff like that. But yeah, that's one of those things where it's like, it would be interesting for you guys to try it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because
I'm down for sure.
I think y'all would kill that shit. Y'all probably take it to another level.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were doing these parties. Was this when you started the Feel Good, like the crew?
That was later on.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the first probably like 6 or 7 years, I was just strictly working on DJing.
Yeah.
And then a couple years before I moved here, a homie of mine hit me up about coming together and doing a party, which I didn't want to do because at the time I was already playing 6 nights a week. I was like, another party, and like it's a Thursday night, and you want to do like throwback shit in the club, and what is this going to get me? What, $200? Like, because it's not like a bottle service thing. It's like, the budget's not that high, whatever. And he was like, nah, just partner with me, and we'll just split everything down the middle. So whatever the door does and whatever the bar percentage we get, we'll split the shit. So it's like, all right, whatever. First couple of weeks, it was like throwback, like 90s hip hop, and it was cool, but it was just there was no room for growth, with that with that format in that space. So I made I took the chance and opened up the format to just anything good music, any good music shit that you can think of from any genre, from any era, but just never more than like 3 songs in one genre or like in a row. Like try to just constantly constantly move around. Yeah. That's exactly what I was saying. I'm constantly moving around, in and out of genres, in and out of artists, whatever.
Eliminate the predictability of everything.
Exactly.
Like what you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whatever you think you're supposed to hear in the club, you're not about to hear that. And it was, I mean, ultimately it was a knock of, kind of a knock from Rock Creek Social Club and what Jerome and them did with Good Life, except for Good Life was more, it was super indie hipster. Like, they were a little bit more left center than we were.
Explain, can you like name some songs or like, yeah.
So, I mean, I remember, you know, $1 Million Mano, he used to be Kanye's DJ from Chicago. All right, whatever.
I don't. Yeah.
Okay, he played there one day, and he was like, he was going from like Baltimore club shit to like Oasis to like fucking Nerd to Kid Cudi, and you know, just like to Santa Gold, and you know, just like a hodgepodge to I Just Want to Love You, Jay-Z, I Just Want to Love You. You know what I'm saying? Not in that order. It doesn't, you know, I'm just, this is off the top, but whatever. And it was just a mix of, and this was also when trap, EDM was just kind of sizzling a little bit.
Bubbling,
not even where people knew what it was. Like that first Major Lazer, I forget the name of the first Major Lazer trap remix, whatever. It was at that time, and so they were mixing in a bunch of that stuff, and it was more underground than we still stuck to club shit. So you where in a club in 2015 in DC, you're not gonna hear "We Gonna Make It." You know what I'm saying? Jadakiss and Styles. I mean Styles. Yeah, whatever. "We Gonna Make It" or "Knock Yourself Out" or Jay-Z Allure, or you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna hear that shit in the club peak time 2015 in DC. We wanted to play those records in the club on top of some new shit, on top of some dance hall, some other shit, blah blah. So it wasn't as far left. Like we're not playing Senegal, but we're still whatever. So
it was like a hip hop head like kind of party, right?
Yeah, it was just
like an open-minded hipster hip hop head a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So that's we did that for 4 years at a spot called Rose Bar in DC, and then once I moved in the middle of that 2 years into that, I moved to Miami, but I still would go home. The first year in Miami, living here in Miami, I went home twice a month. So every other Thursday I was flying back home to do that, and then I kept my weekend gigs in DC. I would just fly back Thursday, do Feel Good, Friday back in the club, Saturday in the club, Sunday in the club, come back to Miami on Monday, chill here Monday,
That sounds
Tuesday,
like the
Wednesday.
tour life DJ life that you didn't want.
I mean, but it was a difference because I had to do it because I didn't know, you know, how that money was going to come down here or how consistently it was going to come down here. So I had to just do it. And then that grew into a following. Like people really fucked with the shit that we were doing, and I will branch out and collab with other people like Rock Creek Social and whatever, and do more and more events. And then I started a party in Miami Sundays at Koyo called Baby Girl. It started off as an all R&B party. Started it here, and it was just amazing. Like the vibe was.
When did you start that?
I moved here 16. I started that in 17, the top of 17, and it was like you could play Keisha Cole Love peak time.
Wow.
Cut the music out, and everybody in the club is singing every lyric. Like you don't have to go tease it back up or anything. Just let it go.
Like a real R&B head party.
It was amazing. But I was also playing at Wood Tavern on Sundays, so it was taking a lot out of me to do both. So I deaded it and I passed it on to the dude who played with me every week. So he still does a party like that. It's called Lovers and Friends Sundays at Koyo. Geo, late night. That's his name. Dope young boy coming up. And then I took that to DC. I took Baby Girl to DC, which was another party underneath the collective of Feel Good, and where it was maybe 100, 150 people in the night in Miami, it turned into 600, 700, 800 people in DC. Same vibe, everything. It was fucking awesome. 80% women, which is
Always good.
Bro, it's great. It's great.
You didn't even have to chase them anymore.
Right.
They're just coming to you.
Yeah. So, and then Feel Good, just expanded into doing a bunch of other shit. We have another monthly called Good Company, and it's like a good music party as well, but we also feature local photographers, and what we do is we buy disposable cameras and give the photographers disposables. We also give them a bottle and a table section to party and drink, and let them just take their own flicks through the night, but not having the pressure of like I'm the photographer for the night and I have to be, it's just like here, how you're here with us, like in good company, like take some flicks and
have some fun.
Yeah, have some fun. So we also do that.
Looking back, how important do you think is it that you started your own party?
Super important.
And is it something you would regret now if you just kept being a working guy, a working DJ?
Well, I don't think I would have regretted it because I didn't even know that I should do that. But again, here comes Jerome.
Well, you were hesitant a little bit because you were like, I don't,
But
why am I going to do that for $200?
And it turned into something that was very lucrative for me. And still is, even when I don't live there.
And it built a brand around you, and it built a following around you, right?
And it allows me to have some currency when I walk into a room with people, or in terms of like trying to get other gigs. I have a stable. I have something. I have a market. You know what I'm saying? I have something to bring. I'm not just no knock to the 9 to 5, quote unquote 9 to 5 DJs. But I have something else to bring, and I mean, it's put me in a bunch of rooms that I thought I never would be in. I didn't think I would be starting a collective with 4 other of some of the best DJs I know, R.O.A.D, MoMA.
We call those the Avengers around here.
Okay.
Well, you guys are starting like an Avengers party, right?
Yeah.
You
basically a collective, like with
Sean G.
Yeah, me, Sean
from
G
LA.
from LA. Yeah. MoMA from New York. Everyday People. Silent Addy. He has his own thing called Bashment down here.
We're actually gonna have him on the show in a couple days. Yeah,
it's the homie. And then Dizza.
Yeah.
So we each have our. Not only do we DJ, but we all have our own collective too.
Right.
Sean G with Shaba, Addy with Bashment, Dizza with Peach Fuzz, MoMA, Everyday People, and me, that Feel Good crew. So
Shell Corporation. Right?
Shell Corporation is the name. Yeah, the first one's at SNS Bar on Saturday in New York. But we're going to do it New York, Miami, LA, Jamaica.
Such a capitalist name.
Oh, dope. Yeah. Where at in Jamaica?
Kingston. That's where Addy's from. So we're going to try to get that off.
That's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So
it's one of those things where I keep telling a lot of frustrated DJs, like, yo, the rates are so low, we can't find work. And I'm like, yo,
make your own work.
Do your own shit.
All of y'all motherfuckers stop trying to fight each other for the work. Get together with the motherfuckers you get along with and start a party.
Create it, yeah.
Yep. And then you guys can create your own do-over or wherever the fuck.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah. Or
play whatever you want to play.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it builds leverage for the bigger clubs to hire you because they're like, yo, they got this following. They got a name and a brand in our city. So we're going to they're going to bring their following and we're going to support them or whatever and give them work. Yeah.
Well, before I even did that, I was a part of Rock Creek Social Club with Jerome. I was one of their resident DJs, and I was just a part of the collective too. And he would always instill that in me. Like Jerome would always tell me, man, you have to create something of your own. You have to have a platform to stand on, aside from being a DJ. Everybody's a DJ, So
what did Jerome Big the Third do for you? Like, I mean, and you said you would watch all these DJs, you would watch all of us.
Yeah.
But and I've listened to Jerome, and he's probably has one. I would say he's one of the top 5 DJs that I know with selection.
Yeah.
Like his selection is bar none better than a lot of DJs, even from an opening set to a primetime set. He has one of the best selections. But I want to know what you got, what you took from him.
Learning to take chances in the club was a big thing. I mean, I didn't know. So in the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. So I was taking chances, but I was taking maybe uninformed, uneducated chances. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Playing some shit that I had no business playing. But Jerome taught me how to incorporate those other records that you might not have thought to put in your set
in a more calculated way, right?
Exactly. And that is pretty much the basis of how I DJ today. No matter what room I'm in, biggest club in the world or smallest room in the city, I'm always trying to find something to sneak in, even if it's just a couple songs within my regular club set that I have to play, just to switch it up to, whether it's a sample or, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So he taught me a bunch of, the question is, what didn't he teach me? Mm-hmm. Like, if it's DJing from the first year I started until I moved to Miami, he was constantly giving me knowledge, and even still now I hit Rome up and like, yo, what do you think about this? He just, I didn't know anything about the DJ business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned everything from him.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great. I try to be a Jerome for Jamie the Great, but he don't want to listen to me. What happens when the motherfuckers don't want to listen to you, though?
I don't know.
He knows everything already. You ever get those motherfuckers that like they start something, but I'm good. Like I know. I killed it last night. I killed it. I'm like, all right, well, you got nothing to learn then, right? It's just you just good as is.
Yeah. That wasn't me. I knew I didn't know shit. Somebody gotta have some info for me.
No, yeah.
You said you got into the Red Bull 3 Style 7-8 months after you started DJing?
No, it was a year and a half.
I'm sorry, okay. Was that something that you already knew that was the route you wanted to take?
No,
or?
I didn't even want to do it.
Yeah.
You did it well, by the way.
Thank you. I guess.
Well, he won. I mean,
No.
Too good, right?
I'm saying like selection wise, the way he controlled the crowd.
Yeah.
Your timing was good, so that's why I was wondering. I was like, where the fuck? Like, your timing was really good with music, the way you were dropping shit. But now knowing that you used to do the drum shit, so your timing is great.
So I didn't want to do it, and one of the other dudes from Rock Creek, Modi, I don't know if y'all know him, DC to BC, they throw he used to be a part of DC to BC, now it's Trilectro, they throw a annual festival in DC called Trilectro, or whatever, but he lives in LA, does a bunch of shit in the music industry. He hit me and was like, yo, I'm helping them put together the Red Bull 3 Style thing, like get in it. And I was like, nah, man, I don't want to like fucking compete against, like, this is not basketball or whatever. Like, I'm not trying to compete. Like, that's not who I am. Like, whatever. Like, I can't even scratch. That was the first thing I said. I was like, yo, I can't even scratch. Maybe a little baby at the time I had, but that was it. And he's like, no, just do it. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So I did it, and I entered my name, whatever. And the day of, fucking all nerves, I had my set down. I practiced over again. Didn't scratch anything. Was just mixing a bunch of shit. And all these other dudes, Alizé, he lives in LA. He was OG of OG. This motherfucker, when I first started DJing, I went up to the booth. I knew him at the time. I went up to the booth and I was like, while he's DJing, not knowing, and I asked him like, yo, man, like, I'm trying to practice. How do you practice in this? And he just an idiot, right? And he leans over and he's like, oh, I don't even practice. What are you talking about? And I was like, wow. My whole dreams were just shut. But he's the OG, you know what I'm saying? And he was in it, a bunch of other cats from DC, Flips.
I know Flips. That's the homie.
Yeah, Flips, the homie. Can't remember who else. Maybe Amin Ra was in it. I don't remember everybody, but so I did my set, and I'm at the last song, and I look up, and it's like 2 minutes left. I'm like, fuck. I have no clue what to do. I haven't prepared for none of this shit.
Right.
And I was like, all right. I just hit the power on the turntable and let it like, slowly spin out, and then I grabbed the first record, the biggest record in the club at the time, which was Same Damn Time, Future Same Damn Time, and I just dropped the shit from the top, and I walked off stage, and when it hit, the whole fucking crowd went crazy.
Well, you planned that shit?
I didn't plan it. I swear on my life I didn't plan it.
That shit sounds planned. Like, yo, I'm so good. Boom.
I didn't even think I was that good. I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't have no time left. I was like, yo, I got to do something. And I just hit it, and I fucking dropped that shit, walked off a stage, and then I peeked back, and the room is just going like this. And I ran back in, jumped in the crowd, moshed with the crowd.
Wow.
None of this was planned.
This sounds very planned.
I swear it was not planned.
It's like, have that. Walks away.
And I'll jump back up, like grab my shit, walked off, and I was just like, still all nerves. I was still completely nervous, and my boy Quinn Spicoli, you know Spicoli?
I've heard him.
Yeah, he was like, "Bro, I think you won it." And I was like, "All right, man, shut the fuck up. Like, give me something to drink. I'm about to get out of here. What time is this shit over?" Yeah. And then I went on stage, and Mayor Hawthorne was one of the judges or something, and he said I won, and I was blown away. I was completely blown away. I was like, "Yo, I just
Mayor Hawthorne, I like it."
But that opportunity, when I won that, we went to the U.S. finals in Orlando, and that's where I met Zach. Four Color Zach, who's now like my boy, my homie.
Great dude.
Yeah, great dude. Love that dude.
Everyone thinks he's a nice guy. He's actually one of the biggest assholes I know. But he's like, he has this appearance of being a nice guy. But if you get to know him, he's a real asshole.
Yeah. Look at that frat boy look.
Shout to Zach. Though. Yeah.
And Zach kicked my ass in the finals, and then that's
that was that.
Then he became.
If you had to get your ass kicked,
of course, Zach is the one.
Zach is the dude
for sure.
And he won the whole thing.
He was doing shit I couldn't even fathom. I couldn't even scratch at the time.
He didn't throw a dildo at you, did he?
No.
Because he did that. Wait, it was actually at the finals. Was it?
He threw a dildo.
He started throwing dildos.
It wasn't that one.
Oh, it was in San Francisco one.
Yeah.
It was like the main one. It was like the world final one that
he started throwing fucking dildos at people.
Yeah. At his gig, yeah. That's crazy.
He was traveling to
Zach.
TSA with fucking dildos.
Looking back at it now, are you glad you did it, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it opened me up to a whole different world of DJs that I didn't even know about. Just, I guess I can sometimes be, what is it, when you're just focused on.
Just in the zone, right?
Yeah, just in my own zone, and it opened me up to a bunch of different DJs, and I was just like, yo, I didn't even know people were playing like this and doing like little trick mixes and I didn't know how to do with trick mixes and like scratch or anything like that. And then it just made me hone in and like work on my craft more so I could get as good as those dudes. I mean, at some point I gave up and I was like, man, I'm not going to be fucking Craze and DMC,
right?
But at least I have a base now that I can, a technical base that I'm like proud of,
right?
And I'm always the creative aspect that I learned from those other dudes. I'm always trying to implement into my sets. Whereas before, I was pretty much just mixing a bunch of songs and shit. I think I did it well, but adding that on top of it was just next level.
I always like seeing like non-turntablists. Like kind of succeed or do well in the Red Bull 3-star competition.
Why is that?
Like MoMA?
I just think, like when MoMA won the New York one.
Yeah. Oh, he did?
Yeah.
What year was that?
2010?
I don't think, maybe
11?
Yeah. Oh shit, that was before
2010.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't know him at that time.
No, I like it because it really.
You didn't want to be on it either.
No, I like it because it really upsets the turntables community.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like the DJs that like prepared months and years for that contest.
Yeah, people were pissed that I won.
Yeah,
for sure.
The Mo came out of nowhere and did like
just freeballed.
Yeah,
like
freeballed the set and won.
He was like, he condensed his set from 45 minutes to 15 minutes, and it just fucking worked for that day.
Yeah,
and he won.
That's another dude with like impeccable selection.
MoMA, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Plays shit that I can't even think of. And I'm just like, yo, how did you get that off? He comes down and plays Lovers and Friends, which is the R&B party at Koyo on Sunday. He just always finds a couple joints that are just like tucked way, way down there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
I feel like he kind of brought like Tevin Campbell. Can we talk?
Can we talk?
Yeah, he made that kind of like a staple now.
Yeah, that's a thing in 2019.
Yeah,
like,
it's like it's like I don't know. I think at one point like all of these throwback songs were coming back. Ja Rule sets were coming back. Like Scrubs was coming back. All these 90s. I feel like that Can We Talk slow jam.
Saturday I played Koyo. A dude asked me. I was turning the music off. It was done.
Yeah,
it's like one more song, please, one more song. And I was like, all right, I'll play something, but you got to pick it. Can We Talk?
Wow.
They sang every word.
Wow. Shout to, I know Mo's feeling himself. He's thinking he started a wave. I already told him, I'm like, yo, you think you started a wave? He's like, I did a little something. I'm like, no. Enough conversation about that. So with Miami, coming to Miami, I want to talk about this, how you kind of adjusted to here and kind of the music and what was the kind of...
Well,
the main thing that you felt like I got to get on top of this and really?
Well, the first thing was the change in time. So in DC, everything during the week closes at 2. On the weekend it closes at 3. So there's peak time. You know when peak time is. Like the lead up. 1 o'clock is the lead up. 1:30 is go.
Yeah.
2:15, 2:30, you can get away with a little bit more, whatever shit, you know, mix it up, and you know, because people are already drunk, and then the last 30, you may play some more hits and then close it out with whatever the fuck you want. Right here, Sidebar was closing at 5. One of the first gigs I had was Basement, and the shit was Art Basel Basement. I got on at 2. And it was over at 6, and get that adjustment to figuring out when is peak time, when it's time to like put your foot on the pedal, and when it's time to like come back. And you know, it's always, especially in my sets, I'm trying to always like. You know, have that up and down.
When you're doing a longer set, you have to have more ups, more downs, more ups and downs. You can't just go up. You can't. You're gonna hit the wall. You're gonna hit the ceiling.
1 hour.
You go down and you go down. You never be able to get back up.
Yeah.
But 1 hour you can go pedal to the metal, like cool, and you're off. It's done. You had a great time. Go home. But like 4 hours, you got to figure out where's that sweet spot. What time is right? Do you go to? So a lot of times I would. Pause, bust my load early.
Shit.
Because I don't know. You know, in my head, it's already ingrained that this shit's over at 3.
Right.
It's 2:30. I'm looking at the clock like it's 2:30. Like it's time to go. Everybody's in here. Like, but you got to think that's 500 people there now. But there's another 200 motherfuckers coming at 4.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When Winwood closes or whatever the case may be, and even at Basement, they close at 4, and you would get on at 1. So I would play Basement with Dizza a lot when I first got here.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would close, sometimes he would close or whatever. But when I did close, I would be getting on at 1, and I would have to ask him like, "Yo, how do I traverse this first hour?" Because I know I got to get till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest hurdle. Before you even talk about the music selection, I will say this. I guess as far as music goes, there's a lot. You can get a lot more off here.
Right.
So much more off.
The number of genres and categories of music is that's what I love about Miami.
Yeah.
Like you can do reggaeton for 25 minutes.
Sure. Afrobeat, even Afrobeat shit that is not on the radio. Like in DC, you play the Fall, If, and Soaps, whatever, those shits.
Burna Boys, all those.
Burna Boy, you play that shit. But here, you're getting like B-side Afrobeat joints off because it's all about the feel of the music. Everybody's dancing. That's another thing. DC, nobody fucking dances.
Oh, sure. Nobody's
dancing. It's literally a breakdance circle in the middle of a bar on a Sunday in Miami, and those day parties in DC, everybody's just standing around. So that was another thing, just opening up my catalog and going back to records that I know I have, but making sure I implement those into my sets now, and playing some of those records, like I said earlier, that I thought were not worthy of getting played, and playing them and getting the reaction that I never would have thought I would have gotten before.
For example, like
the mystical shit that I said. But even if you go Kevin Little turn me on, or Tempted to Touch, Wayne Wonder Tempted to Touch, or whatever. I wasn't playing those records in DC.
Really?
No.
Really?
Surprised you weren't playing Kevin Little. That's been like a staple for man.
I didn't have to. I mean, I've been playing Blow the Whistle.
No, I'm just saying that Kevin Little's like Blow the Whistle. It's a timeless record.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't have to. There was no point in the night. Once I got to a certain level in DC, I was getting on at 1, and it was done at 2. Yeah. There was no, or done at 3.
Right.
And there was no reason for me to play Kevin Little because I had to get Drake, and I had to get 2 Chainz and the rest of the motherfuckers off before.
It's so dope. Like I think I love seeing DJs that like progress and grow when they challenge themselves, or when they're placed in like anything. Like, yo, I moved from New York to Vegas or whatever, or like my homies who moved from like New York to LA or whatever, and they progress and they like adapt to LA, and then they were shitting on LA music or LA hip hop, and then they like kind of like they adapt to it and they get it now. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like I love seeing that shit, because it's like as DJs we don't really learn until we fuck up.
Oh yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like
best time,
and that's the one thing that like motherfuckers gotta know is like the more you have, like the worst night you have, the more you learn from that night. Like I don't learn from like, I mean, you may have like a dope night, you'd be like, damn man, I pulled a lot of songs out that I would never play, or these mixes that I would never play. But like I learned so much when I had a horrible night,
for sure.
or when I had like if I go out of town and the resident who opens and closes for me, I hear their opening set and I'm like, damn, they're playing a ton of music I would never fucking play, and I feel embarrassed to go on and do my set. And then after my set, I'm like, damn, that was pretty good. And then they come on, they close, and they fucking
doing some more
they
shit.
throw on like
They
5
keep
more
it-
songs that I don't
They
even
keep the
know.
party going.
And they keep it going. I'm like, yo, this motherfucker. And those eye-opening moments are when I learn the most, when like my ego's out the door and I'm just kind of like, yo, it's just on some DJ shit where you're like, damn, like I got a lot to learn.
Yeah,
Like
get
there's
your
a lot
shit
of
together.
shit. Yeah, that's the best
Yo,
moments. for me.
a good opener is the best person to learn from.
The best.
Yo, it's like
I don't think that, and that's what I don't think that like these openers don't realize how many songs they could be breaking.
Yeah.
Yo, like you can try to break songs when you headlining, like that's cool and shit, but like yo, you could really break songs and really test songs out in the beginning of the night.
Hell
That's why
yeah.
when I go into a club and I hear an opener and they're playing like Sheck West, you know, like Mo Bamba, or like they're playing Act Up, to me I'm like, yo, y'all could be playing the B-sides, you could be playing the new
The
shit
next hit.
Yeah.
and putting me on to new music, and
Yeah.
I'll be like, damn, I didn't know this was hitting, or shit like that, instead of playing like obvious shit that you know is
That
like
you're probably
prime
gonna play
shit.
later in
Yeah.
the night.
Yeah, I mean that's the worst. The opener that's playing. My personal stance on opening is there's no reason for you to be in 70 BPM if you're opening at all. Like 60.
Every day. What is it? Every girl. You could do like some shit like that, you know, like
There's
some
some
earlier
records in the
joints.
70s.
Yeah,
But
I actually
but
like
no.
it. I like it when openers are bouncing around the BPMs, like when they're doing 60 to 70, but they're playing those songs that you never hear, like Amen or something like that, like
Yeah.
some early shit. Yeah.
Well, I said 70, but I mean like 60 to 70, like new records. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course, once you get 70 and up to 80, I like to start off my nights at 80. Like that's
start.
like the perfect.
80's like the new 90, 95 BPM, right?
Bro, I love starting at 80. It's so many records that you can get. Like Tweet. What's that Tweet song?
Oops.
Yeah.
Nah, it's
No,
the
no.
other one.
Call Me.
Call me. Yo, I love starting my sets with that song, and then just go to like Christina Milian, Dip It Low, or some shit like that. You know what I'm
Kerry
saying?
Hilson.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Kerry
yeah,
Hilson.
yeah, for sure. Or what's that? Jeremiah and 50 song. That was kind of a joint.
Down on Me?
Yeah, that's an opener now. It used to be a kind of peak time joint, I guess.
I was what do you call it? You were mentioning like kind of when you first came out here and like learning how to like kind of stretch your sets out and whatnot. And I was like, I like talk to DJs sometimes and they're like, yeah, you know, like I play Act Up and then I play like Saweetie, My Type. And I was like, why would you play two bangers like that back to back? Like I never understood that shit, right? Like I would save my shit, like
Put something in the middle. Pause.
no, but I would be like, yo, I'm gonna give them Sweetie now, see how they react, and then I'm gonna save Act Up for a little bit later.
Well, it depends on where
You know?
you are in your set. To me,
Yeah.
like if you're in that range where you're like leading up to like where it's time to go, like really time to go in, then play one of those just as a teaser. Like, okay, let me see where y'all heads at. You ready to party yet? Or, you know, but yeah, playing those back to back doesn't really.
Well, I see the night as two primetime nights.
Okay.
You know, you got to hit them with the primetime. My first primetime to me is sing along. Let me get them all on the same page. Let me get everyone singing along.
Okay.
And on the same page. And then on the second primetime, I'm going to hit them with like maybe like some newer joints, or get them, you know, like save some of the newer joints till a little bit later.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure. That's
and what I usually notice is that, like, for me, like, I wouldn't hit them all with all the new joints, but when I go to LA, I notice you kind of got to play all the new joints back to back.
You have no time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have no time in LA. As soon as you get on, it's time to go.
So
home.
sometimes I fuck up when I'm in LA.
Yeah.
Because I
don't get to them.
You try to warm up.
And then by the time, and
shit.
I'm like, oh shit, it's like 1:45. And then I do that power set at 15 minutes where I'm just like playing all the shit. But I can't even lie. Like, sometimes I forget.
I do that sometimes also when I'm in LA, man, because I'm so used to Vegas.
Well, you kind of hold it, right? You're just like, I'm going to hold this in the pocket for later.
You just got a couple of hours, but in LA, you got to get
it all.
Yeah.
So that's why I understand all those LA dudes. They're like, like act up my type all at once. Just all those bangers all at once.
What time would you be getting on in LA?
12.
Oh, 12?
12, sometimes 12:30, man.
That's what I'm saying. If it's 12:30, you ain't got no time to play.
You pretty much got an hour. Because lights up at like 1:30, 1:45 usually.
Yeah, so you should be playing all those in the road because you ain't got no time. But if it's 2 hours or two plus hours, then you have time to like mix some shit up, put something else.
To break it up a little bit. Yeah,
for sure.
I want to talk about what do you call it? What you're doing with that? What is that called? The Shell Corporation.
Okay.
With you guys all getting together.
Well,
how did that? I mean, I just think it's. First of all, I think it's like, I don't know. Has anyone ever done that before?
I guess the originals, maybe.
The originals?
Is that?
But the originals, they're all from the East Coast.
Yeah.
You guys are like from like
all over the country.
Coastal.
Yeah, that's why I'm crazy about it, man.
Yeah. Honestly, it was Moma's idea.
Okay.
But
because we were with Jezza, and Jezza said it was your and Moma's idea, but now
it was Moma's idea. But I'll take credit for it too. Fuck it. But it was Moma's idea. But I thought it was tight, and Moma was like, I'm kind of busy. We need somebody to like be the catalyst, somebody to try to get the shit going a little bit. So I took on that role a little bit. But I guess it was sparked by. Me, Addy, and Dizza live here. Moma's always in Miami.
Yeah.
Sean G comes to Miami a few times a year. When they come, we're all friends separately, like just kind of randomly.
Right.
And then, well, not randomly, we're all DJs, but whatever. And then we all would come together and like grab dinner or whatever and chat, talk about life, talk about DJing, this and that. And it came up, and Moma brought it up at dinner one time, and we got in a group chat, and it just.
How did you bring it up? I mean, what was the thinking behind it?
I don't remember. You got to get Momo on here again or something. I don't know exactly what.
Maybe should I call him?
Shit, yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
Well, is he in London?
He's in London, yeah.
Man. What time is it over there?
11:30.
Man, it might be. He might pick up. Hold on, let me see.
Damn. Fuck that guy.
All right, fuck it. Yeah.
So I don't know exactly. I don't know. He just brought it up, and I thought it was a tight idea, so I ran with it. I mean, we all ran with it. But I think it's gonna. Hopefully, it's something that we can use as another platform on top of what we have.
Yeah.
To like, get outside the. I think the plan is like worldwide, international shit. Because we all have our things in our each city. I mean, Moma's got his shit in a ton of cities. And even Shaba, even Sean G with Shaba is moving around a bunch. Peach Fuzz is, Bashment too.
I mean, Shaba was just in Vegas.
Yeah. With the TDE. Yeah.
For the Day in Vegas Festival after party. Yeah.
So it's just, I think it just makes sense. We're all, we're all friends first and foremost. We love playing music together.
Yeah.
Like, Dizzy and I go back to back like at least 10 times a year. You know what I'm saying? Just not even just out of just like coincidence. We wound up on the same bill, and same thing with Addy. Addy and I play at Wood Tavern on Wednesdays, every Wednesday now. Like I brought him on to do that with me, and I just think it fits. It makes sense, and the name I thought was tight too, Shell Corporation, because of the Caribbean influence of us being in Miami and Shaba being Shaba, everyday people being everyday people, and it's like, shelling, like that's their term for like, killing a party or whatever. I think it works.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like it because it's kind of a new step for working DJs to come together And I mean, the first step a working DJ can do would be to start their own party.
Yeah.
To put the control in their hands, right? Build up their own following, build their own musical setting for what they want for their own people. And then for me, you guys working together is another step for working DJs to kind of I would like to champion some stuff like that, because to me it's taking all the working DJs who are confused at what's going on with the rates getting lowered and what do we do, like, you know, how do we move forward, and you know, all these clubs are like, you know, they're not pushing us, they're pushing the other guys. Well, now it's time to understand, like, yo, these dudes are doing it.
Yeah.
They're starting their own parties. Not only that, they're helping each other out, and they're like collabing on parties.
Yeah.
And now they're coming together and starting like kind of like a DJ crew where they're just going around that might be on a global scale, just
Hopefully.
like traveling and stuff. I'm really excited about it.
I would much rather. My bad. I ain't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I would much rather travel and do that with my boys than be out on the road myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Alone and
playing for rooms where you have to conform and like play the same top 40 or the same open format set that they want.
Because wherever we're going to book, or if we hopefully get booked or whatever, there will be no like, okay, this is no format for the music. You're just going to get what you get. Like this is our platform to do what we want to do, to play the way we play, and to, you know, to get our shit off. And it just so happens, I mean, it helps that we all have our little followings here and there, and even in other cities. Like MoMA has his following in Miami. I have my following in New York and LA, and then it just makes it so much easier to bring people together when it's all of us. We go to New York, all of our folks are coming separately, and then the people that we promote to that know us outside of being our friends and you know close followers or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's easy.
That's why I feel like individually, all you guys could do the party yourselves if you wanted to. But before you getting together, you making it like a big deal.
Yeah, that's what that was the. I guess that's the road we're trying to go on. Make it something big, man, and make the first one a night to remember, and then figure out the rest. We haven't even laid all the groundwork for shit. We just like, yo, let's get this first one off, see how it goes.
If Mo was involved, he'll know how to do this. He's a fucking logistical genius. He'll find a way to package it and get it all ready. Yeah. He's good at that shit. Well, man, we're looking forward to that shit. And,
I'm gonna be in New York Saturday. Okay. I think I'm not working. If not, I'm definitely gonna come through and check it out.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it's free too. So just come
and give us reports. Let us know if it's
definitely
whack or some shit.
Spencer just fucked this all up right now,
fucking
guys.
train wreck trying to play "Been So Long." What a danger! Whatever the fuck.
Hey yo, anything else we want to touch on?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, we good. Hey yo, Spencer, thanks so much for coming through,
Thank you,
man.
man.
We
Thanks.
appreciate you, man, for coming
Thanks a
through,
lot,
man.
man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I'm glad we could get you a part of the Miami edition of R.O.A.D podcast, and thank you to DJ City, and then
And you can check this video out alongside with every brand new video we drop on Friday. YouTube.com/R.O.A.D podcast. Fuck that. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get the video first. And yeah, shout out to DJ City.
peace, man.
Peace.